Thank you everybody for joining me for the Mii Hour. This is your opportunity to get a condensed set of information on the latest buffs and the direction of the Mii Racing Suits so that you can best inform your gameplay decisions on whether or not you want to invest into these things. Are they worth it? The jury is still out on that, right? We're collecting the data, and that's what this whole dialogue is all about. And we have a lot of fun with that. So let's just start off right away. We have the Redmi Racing Suit. Now everybody has this, right? As soon as you logged in, this is the one you tied to your Mii account. Had 7 tracks of value at start, and it didn't receive any new ones. So what we see here is it picked up 1 new track. It picked up the Donut Plains 2. So now it has 8 tracks of value. So still, it's a long road to haul for this one, and I don't think that the free suit is going to possess anywhere near the value that the projection I initially had of that like 18 to 22 track range for many of the Mii Racing Suits. This one's not going to get there, folks. It's just, there's not enough tracks and buffs and time with this item, and it makes sense, right? If we think about the context to it and that everyone has it, and it's going to get tracks like the Donut Plains 2 that have been around the block. So still very good to see. And also it had 7 tracks of middle shelf value, and we see it picked up a middle shelf. So that's the Daisy Hills RT, which it could have, if it's the Mii Cup, then it can receive the shelf boost and be top shelf. So what I've been seeing is that, and we'll confirm that here as I go through this, is that the items that have a lower favorite course value for these Mii Suits have greater favored course or middle shelf values. So the ones like the DK Mii Suit that we'll take a look at in just a moment, much more middle shelf than the ones that receive the top shelf favor, like, you know, the Toad or the Mario. So this Mario Mii Racing Suit now, that had 9 tracks of value. And we see here, it still has the 9. It got no buffs. So yeah, that's in terms of the progression of value here, I mean, that reduces the ceiling even more now, because just like how I have said in all of my content that the most amount of courses that any item has statistically on average is going to be greatest for its debut tour, followed by its second tour. That's when it's going to get added the most amount of buffs on average. It's not universal, mind you. There are some things that receive more buffs in its third tour. Generally, you won't see much beyond the third tour. So here to see that this received no new tracks in its third tour spells some finality to its value. I'm not going to say this is fully realized, because it's not fully realized value, but it just, the limit to what these can do is very, very apparent. It's become that way. So this had 6 tracks of middle shelf value, and we still see it still has these same 6. So there's not going to be an expansion done for this one in way of the Mii Cups and that ranked top shelf boost that it could see. So same deal here. For the Peach Mii Racing Suit, it had 9 favorite courses and 6 favorite courses. So let's see what happened here. Well, it looks like Peach got a buff. She got a ranked buff, and that's Daisy Hills RT. So she's up to 10 tracks now. It's a returning retro ranked. It's not a paywall. But you know, that's to be expected for an item that has a direct transaction that you can do to obtain it, right? It's not one of those spotlights or non-spotlight things that you have to go deep into a pipe for. So it's not really going to see the paywall buffing favor there. But having this now up to 10 tracks, you know, 1 track of added value in its third tour is Now we take a look at the middle shelf, and we see it also got a middle shelf buff, so Donut Plains 2. So Peach is an early winner, but winning is very limited and relative, as we can see there. So once again, same deal with the Toad Mii Racing Suit. 9 tracks, and it still has 9, so no buffs there. And wow, it picked up 2 middle shelf buffs, so the Maple Treeway R is unique to this one so far. Donut Plains 2 is the same as the one that Peach Mii Racing Suit obtained. So now we have the Luigi Racing Suit, who is now for sale, but it was free. It was a tour gift for free. So please, folks, don't spend your rubies on that one. Interesting that they gave it the buff though. So it's up to 8 tracks now. They gave it a buff now that they're selling it. But most people are going to have this for free. If you missed out on it, though, this is not one that you want to get into now. It's not. So if by chance you did not play that tour, you didn't obtain the Luigi from the tour gift, this is not one that you're going to want to purchase for those rubies. It's just not worth it because the entry to obtaining it, too many accounts have this now, and the value has catch up to do. And catch up at a point when it's not warranting it from the developers. And we can see here it got more buffs than did Toad and Mario, and it's still behind, still only has 8. So quite a lot of middle shelf added though, because like I said, remember the correlation, right? Lesser favorite courses, more favored middle shelf courses. That's how they're handling these Mii Suits, and that's a way for them to squeak in and kind of equalize the value on these things. But remember, that is entirely dependent upon the Mii Cup. So that's going to be problematic, and you can't control your game around it, okay? You can't call into Intern 4, patch him in and say, I need a salad, bro, give me the Mii Cup for this rank. It doesn't work that way, okay? It could be anytime, so you're at their mercy is what I'm saying there. Anyway, Rosalina's Me Suit. So this is going to be an interesting one. This was the first ranked reward, and it received a brand new paywall track in its second tour. So immediately I'm thinking with that King Boo Mii Racing Suit that perhaps it will get a ranked Yoshi Valley. We're going to take a look at that in just a moment. Let's see if this gets continued favor. I don't expect that it will. I expect it to get a buff, but not the ranked one. So we see Rainbow Road, that could be ranked in week 2. I haven't looked at that yet, but it's not a new paywall track. So they get the buff, it's up to 9 tracks now. And let's see, picked up 2. So interesting, if the Mii Cup was in week 2, then it could get the Yoshi Valley T on the cup boost. And if not, it could get that in the future, just if it were in the Mii Cup. So yeah, that's kind of like a subtle way. So then I wonder if then the next tour, like let's say if King Boo's Mii Suit gets outright favorite course value for one of the Yoshi Valleys, the next tour I would imagine one of the paywall tracks will be in the middle shelf. So you know, we kind of like uncover what the underlying mechanism is for how they're doing these buffs, and then I disseminate that right here. You know, I just study it all and then rapid fire observation. Really great format. I love this. Hopefully you folks enjoy. If you enjoy the Mii Hour, smash that like button. It helps a lot. All right, so here we go. Here's Morton, folks. The DK Mii Suit, right? Did it get anything? It didn't get anything. And here's a funny thing that I neglected to mention, actually, is that I had said the Coinbox overlap for this, 5/6 of its tracks are Coinbox overlaps, right? And I said that the Choco Island 1RT is clean. There's no Coinbox there, but in fact, the Gold Mii Suit will have Choco Island 1RT, so it's 100% Coinbox overlap. Now granted, vast majority of the viewing audience, myself included, I'm not gonna make it to tier 80 anytime soon. So, I mean, the relevance of this niche still exists, but when I told you folks, don't buy the DK Mii Suit, I meant business. I mean, looking at, okay, this special skill to gain access and entry into this for just 70 rubies that first tour, they weren't going to do anything with this value. I was very confident on that. I have fun racing with this one in multiplayer when it comes up. just because like I'm a DK fan and I use my Mii with it, but it's like, I'm not gonna invest tickets into this. Look at this, folks. Still level 1 on my account. I'm not a sucker for that sort of thing. And you know, always, I practice what I preach here. When I talk about the patience and stuff, it's like, you know, to the nth degree that we do it here. Anyway, I mean, look, this is more confirmation, though, that it picked up the Airship Fortresses now for the middle shelf value. So this one does have a lot of Mii Cup buffing favorability. Also picked up, yeah, so it's, what's that, at 9 middle shelves. I mean, that's significant for only having the 6 top shelf value, but for that meat and potatoes guaranteed value, you're not gonna find it here, not at all. So we have the Bronze Me Suit now. The Bronze Suit had 10 courses of value and it still has 10. So they've already waved goodbye to this one. They said, folks, early entry into this one, we'll give it the buffs up front and it's not going anywhere. So still has the 6, actually it picked up the 2. So it had 4 actually. This is one of the ones, slightly different trends with the bronze, silver, and gold in terms of the middle shelf ones, where there's more middle shelf for the gold one, even though it has more favorite courses. And that is because they're attached to those challenge boards. These are not ones that we can purchase as of yet, and not for a long time to come, mind you. So, but there you go. The silver suit, did that pick up a track? Yes, it did. It picked up the Airship Fortress, so that's now one-upping the bronze suit by 1 track. So this one now has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 courses of value. It did pick up Airship Fortress T and R also, so that's 2 buffs for the middle shelf, mind you. So that one can potentially be covering the entire Airship Fortress series of tracks. Now it's the Gold Me Suit. This is the creme de la creme, right? The one that a lot of folks out there, especially if you are a long-time competing player, this is what you want to hear my analysis on, right? Had 12 courses of value and it had 6 middle shelf, although the middle shelf still does factor, even for those folks up in the nosebleed. So let's see what's going on here. And would you look at that, it picked up overlap to the Yoshi Gold Egg. Wow, that is ruthless for the value of the Yoshi Gold Egg. Because if you're pulling for that and you're in line to get this, that really neutralizes the value of the Yoshi Gold Egg, given the bonus points multiplier for the bonus points boost is so much greater for the Gold Mii Racing Suit, and Yoshi is a middleweight, so this is comparable. Picked up Rainbow Road also, which is a very coin box heavy track, but it's a great track. So this is gonna really destroy that scoring ceiling there. So that's 2 really good buffs, up to 14 tracks now. So this is the one that's charting the closest to that 18 to 22 range that I was forecasting, and looks right on point for that, folks. Really solid estimation there, and we can see that it picked up 2 middle shelf, so it's now up to 8 middle shelf courses. Rainbow Road T, which is a very big scoring course, as well as Yoshi Valley R, which is likely not going to be the ranked version, but maybe coming back soon in ranked. Perhaps maybe in time for the Mii Cup, when that becomes available early on in its lifespan. So let's go on to the ones that were introduced now in the last tour. So this is the King Boo Mii Racing Suit. I just got it in the ranked reward for week 2. Had 6 courses of top shelf value, and we can see it picked up Maple Treeway as well as Maple Treeway RT. So that's 2 buffs, and that's a non-paywall. So this is diverting slightly now from the Rosalinas Me Suit, where the Rosalinas Me Suit picked up the paywall track. So maybe it will just specifically be targeting these ranked courses and not the paywall. I can see that happening because it is kind of a very cheap precedent to give entry. I mean, this costs nothing. If you just use your resources well, you don't even have to pull to win a ranked mode. If you do proper ranked algorithm matchmaking spotting with your account and you can gain the proper terrain to get yourself a cheap and easy ranked mode. And then you can obtain this for not having spent tickets or rubies, and then if they have that on paywall tracks, it's like, I mean, you're completely subverting the whole system here, and that's the kind of stuff that we look to do. Absolutely, but it's good to see that they are balancing that, and it's not just like completely giving away the keys to some new stuff. I like to see that, and it has the Yoshi Valley T and R as the middle shelf buffs. Now we have the King Bob-omb suit. Now this one started off with 8 tracks. This was very meaty, and now we see it's up to 10. So it picked up both airship fortresses, just like one of the other suits that we just looked at. So this one's on the fast track to obtaining a lot of courses. This is now gone beyond that of the Mario, Peach, and Toad suits, which were at 9 after their second tour, but we see that they've been held up there at this point. So the King Bob-omb suit will likely be held up after this tour, and it picked up the airship fortress for the middle shelf, and you see that it only had 5 values. So I mean, this is the confirmation once again, folks. We have a real good pulse on these Miis. So everything that you need to know is in this one segment, and you can project this forward to, we know that the Me Suit is coming in the next tour, right? So let's take a look at what the Yoshi Mii starting value is. So starts off with 7 courses. It's right in the middle. It's not on the low end. It's not on the very high end, that's for sure. It does appear to have ranked for week 2, which is relevant. It also has ranked for week 1 on one of the older retros. So, and it also level unlocks, so it's a multi-ranked use in week 1 as well if you take it up to level 3. So that's how they do that. I mean, they want you to burn your resources up front on something that's not going to have very much fully realized value. That's why it's a pay-to-win move. I mean, when I come on and I say you can take the Miis or leave the Miis, you'll be fine either way. It's because I know that if you're using all of your resources on this to unlock that track and to perform in this ranked mode, you're going to regret it months down the line when there's all these different items that you have access to on your accounts and you wish that you had the tickets and didn't use them on a Mii suit that has, like, you know, 14 tracks of value, just ballparking it, right? So that's going to be the end term solution for these items, and I really want you folks to think about that before you make the big moves on them. Certainly, you don't want to be hurt months later. You know, it's all about crafting your long term. And now we have the Birdo Me Racing Suit, which this is going to be ranked 7 tracks of value. Looks like it will get the week 2. So if you're going to get it in week 1, that will help you out in week 2. That's pretty interesting. So it will be interesting to see the level unlocks too for what that does for the week 2 courses. If that Maple Treeway RT is there, or one of the other ones. But interesting to note that has a couple of DK Junior overlaps, just myself looking at that there. So anyway, in 5 middle shelf courses. So we can see, you know, when it starts off with less, it gets more of those middle shelves. I do hope you all found all of this data to be completely eye-opening to you. And if you do, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel, because this is the kind of content that we do, and it will help take your game to the next level. I learn from you just as much as you folks learn from me, and our dialogue, both in the comments and on the Discord, is wonderful. And I'm so thankful to have all of you to share this wonderful game with. So take care, everybody.